Cerebral palsy is a group of disorders that affect movement and muscle tone or posture. It is caused by damage that occurs to the immature developing brain, most often before birth. Signs and symptoms appear during infancy or preschool years. In general, cerebral palsy causes impaired movement associated with exaggerated reflexes, floppiness, or spasticity of the limbs and trunk, unusual posture, involuntary movements, unsteady walking, or a combination of these. The cause of cerebral palsy and its effect on function vary greatly. Some people with cerebral palsy can walk, others need assistance. Some people have intellectual disabilities, but others do not. Epilepsy, blindness, or deafness also might be present. Creighton C.J. Coleman was born with spastic cerebral palsy, but he never let that get him down. Creighton C.J. Coleman doesn't allow cerebral palsy to hinder his social skills. He uses these skills to make YouTube videos that encourage other people.
What's up, everybody? I'm Creighton Coleman, also known as CJ, and I'm just basically going to explain my story, and we're going to talk about my life. Really, I'm just always making YouTube videos and doing my own thing and documenting my life and making songs, writing songs and singing, and that's pretty much what I do, and I love it. You know, there's a lot that goes on in my life, and basically we have fun, and it just really sometimes gets my mind off of the bad stuff, and it's just a bunch of fun. And I love being able to be open and honest and everything like that. And that's why I started my YouTube channel.
The Coleman family details the process of CJ being born. They also explore the early year trials dealing with cerebral palsy.
This story began in May of 2009. I found out I was pregnant, and Creighton and I was Creighton Sr. and I were so excited that we were going to have a baby. Then it goes on to October 30th, Halloween. I was at work, just going about my day, and my water broke, unfortunately. Had to be rushed to the emergency room, and they were going to airlift me to Jackson, but the weather was bad, so I had to ride in the ambulance all the way from Starkville to Jackson, and that was a rough ride. When we got to Jackson, they initially tried to stop my labor, and it worked for about 4 or 5 days. Then on November 4th, or the morning of November 4th, I went into full labor, and around 11 o'clock, CJ was born. And unfortunately, I had to have a cesarean to bring him into the world. After I had CJ, they immediately had to put him in critical care, the NICU unit for children in Jackson.
CJ was scheduled to be born around December 23rd, and so he was 2 months premature, so he had to be put in an incubator, and it was touch and go there for a long period of time.
Almost a year old, and he wasn't hitting those milestones as far as crawling and starting to pull up, trying to walk and things of that nature. And so we had gone to our doctors and started locally at the pediatric clinic, and they sent us to an orthopedic specialist there. And he examined CJ, and he looked at Creighton and I, and he asked us, has anyone ever told you all that Creighton has cerebral palsy? And we said, no, no one has ever told us that. We never even thought about that. And from there, they decided to send us to LeBonard Children's Hospital in Memphis, so CJ could be tested to see for sure if he had CP.
Cerebral palsy is a spectrum of diseases. It can be a very mild condition where the child has a very minimal impairment to a very severe condition where the child has significant impairments as far as sitting and walking, and even problems with eating and feeding themselves. And that's where we come in, trying to help the child reach their potential as they continue to grow.
Prior to this clinic, there were not any comprehensive clinics in the city of Memphis that take care of patients with CP. These patients had to go to multiple appointments, seeing the different specialists. Having it all in one place, we're able to all talk about their plan together and come upon an agreement for their plan with the patient and family present.
So I think what makes this clinic different is just the way we interact, the way that we all uniquely care for these children and use our talents and gifts to really improve their lives. With this clinic, we have orthopedic surgeons, we have nurse practitioners, social workers. We really have a full complement of people that come around these children to really address their needs.
There are many different types of cerebral palsy. CJ was diagnosed with spastic cerebral palsy.
I just have tightness in my muscles.
And that creates what? When your muscles get tight, you start to do what? You start to move without even actually trying to move.
Yeah.
But the main part of the spastic CP is the fact that his muscles are really, really tight. And so therefore, because of that, we are in physical therapy. We go to therapy. He actually has physical therapy at school, educational, and we go to a clinic in Starkville, which is kids therapy spot, and he does physical therapy.
And occupational therapy.
And occupational therapy. CJ does not have full functioning of his right hand and arm. The functioning of his right hand is about 45, maybe 50%. And so that causes him, he's not able to really use his hand to write, to lift, and to do a lot of things. So he is really what?
Left-handed.
The left hand is his dominant hand.
And my shoulders, they, like, my elbows aren't really straight.
Because of the CP.
Yeah. I can't bend them straight.
So he goes to therapy twice a week to do once for physical therapy and once for occupational therapy to do those skills that he needs to do, life skills, working with his occupational therapist.
Dealing with CP takes a lot of love and support. One of CJ's biggest supporters, his Aunt Patricia, explains how he makes her feel.
CJ makes me feel like I can do anything. Being that he has a disability and I don't, I draw strength from seeing CJ do so much. It makes me feel as though I can conquer the world, but I haven't done that yet. I see CJ in the future CJ can be anything he wants to be because he has the mindset to do that. And I think whatever he's going to be is going to be to bring joy, to bring love, to bring peace, to bring understanding in this world where we don't have.
Cerebral palsy has different effects on different people. Ms. Brewer explains how she feels CJ is not affected socially by CP.
His writing a little bit maybe, but he is a very smart young man, very intellectual, very friendly, very outgoing. The vlogs encourage, I think it encouraged, he wants to encourage people by vlogging, by telling his story about CP, to inform and to give information, to educate on his disability.
Alright guys, I'm about to show Patty B my Christmas present, so yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, open! See what I got. It's for you! Merry Christmas!
CJ gives encouraging words on his YouTube channel for people dealing with CP and for those who don't. Creighton Sr. explains the medical case in which doctors diagnosed CJ.
When we went to LeBonner Hospital in Memphis, We went to see a neurologist first, Dr. Shaw, and she told us that CJ was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, and they considered it to be a mild case. And we were, as parents, we were saying mild, and she wanted to explain that because CJ communicates so well and can get around and do some things for himself, his case would be considered mild compared to others that have cerebral palsy. And also his orthopedic specialist, Dr. Kelly, has worked with us to get him to be have more flexibility, more mobile, have more flexibility. And he explained to us that CJ's body is kind of like a house. It's going to be some problems that we run into from time to time, but he can help us by having different surgeries and making him more comfortable and rearranging the furniture by doing surgery and hardware and things like that to help him be more comfortable as he grows into his body, become more mature. If your child has CP, it's important that you have a strong support system, and that includes family, friends, and also medical staff. Our doctors at LeBarnes are part of our family, and even his therapist that he goes to see on a weekly basis, they're part of our family as well. We're all working together to try to provide the services that CJ needs to be successful in life.
Also, I would just like to remind everyone that if you or someone you know is going through something similar, I'm sure there's support groups on Facebook maybe or something like that where you can talk to people going through similar things, and that should help.
And one of the things that we have is we have a kids therapy spot is where CJ goes for therapy, and a lot of the families, most of the kids, well, none of the kids have cerebral palsy, but some of them are in wheelchairs or they have other disabilities. So we have similar conditions. So we have relationships with those parents. And actually, when we first began this journey, we had a support group of parents with children with disabilities, and we would meet one Saturday out of the month and do different activities with the kids. So I would say find an outlet, however it may be, on social media, maybe at your church, at your job, however you want to do it. Just find an outlet, someone or a group that could help you. It's needed.
So basically, I have a community on YouTube, and I'm trying to be a voice for the voiceless and really tell people about disabilities and my disability, and just let people know the truth, and also, keep it real, but also make it engaging and fun. And I just want to continue to encourage and motivate others.